Welcome everybody to more End of the Storm action. We are going into Group B today. We are the players for End of the Storm. The tournament of course is going to proceed towards the round of 8 pretty soon. That's when we're going to have this weekend with 3 days of non-stop Heroes of the Storm action. The teams are currently trying to qualify for that, and in today's match we're seeing NaVi go up against Kinguin in our first best of 3 of the series. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map, and we have a very solid lineup on the side of NaVi, running this with a Leoric and a Muradin at their front line, and they also have a Vala together with a Jaina. And the entire setup here was already kind of dedicated to a bit of a sniper composition that they were aiming for, and therefore we see on the side of their opponents of Kinguin a pick on Tyrande. So Tyrande in their composition, maybe not the hero that you really want to rely upon. There's not too much synergy for that. It looks more and more like Tyrande was picked away from NaVi more than that Kinguin was thinking that it would be a great addition to their team. Of course it can help out quite a bit, but they have to make sure that Tyrande is going to get her kills in the early stages of the game. When we're talking about Tomb of the Spider Queen, it's a very narrow map, a map where all of those 3 lanes are very close together, and this is why a sniper composition with Muradin, Tyrande and maybe Jaina for extra damage, or also an Uther for the extra stun, is quite strong. So I guess that's one of the reasons why Kinguin was trying to take Tyrande away from their opponents. As is though, in their composition it doesn't have too much synergy with the rest of the setup. They're running this with a Khaldor, which is of course amazing for damage, and a Zebo as well, who can also poke with the spiders, will do that throughout the entire game. And as their solo tank, they're currently running a Johanna with Kharazim the Monk as their healer. So the setups here for the first map, and well, we're going to go into game number 1 right away to find out which team is going to take the lead. This is of course a best of 3, and the loser of this series will go into the losers match. The winner then has a chance in the winners match to already qualify for the round of 8. We're going to talk about that setup and of course also that format a little bit more, but if you guys are interested you can always check out the link in the video description to read up on it. Without further ado, boys, let's jump straight into game number 1 between NaVi and Kinguin here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Alright everybody, welcome to game 1 of the day. We have the Enter the Storm Group B. And today in Group B, NaVi, Kinguin, Roccat and even Murkies are playing in our first game of the day. As you can see, we have NaVi facing off against Kinguin. This is map number 1, Tomb of the Spider Queen. And to the left side we have Splendor on Uther, we have Shrimpy on Muradin, Alex the Pro G on Leoric, Eternal on Jaina and JPL on Vala. On the right side of the map, it is currently Kinguin, and they have a bit of a new roster with Get Amher on Tyrande, Lavon on Johanna, we have Invidium on Khaldor, Snow on a Zebo, and Ui on Kharazim the Monk. So Nurok and Nepsa are not with the team anymore. They were let go, and well, therefore we have them in a new setup, and this is, I think, actually the first time that they play with this lineup. Might have played maybe in the Major League once before with it, but right now I'm very interested to see what they can do with the composition that they're playing here. Especially since I personally believe that the Tyrande pick that we are seeing on their side was something that they were forced into because they wanted to pick it away from NaVi, since NaVi had a very good setup at the beginning of the game with an Uther, Muradin and Leoric to use that Tyrande for potential sniper composition. I don't really like Tyrande in their setup too much. Tyrande, of course, not a bad hero by any means, but she's a little bit special, and I mean She's a pretty sick lady, so she's allowed to be a bit special, but I feel like she needs a potential setup with additional stuns, and that's just something that Kinguin can currently not bring to the table. So I'm a little bit surprised that they are running her, but as I said already, I believe it's because they wanted to pick her away from the opponent's setup. We're gonna find out if Tyrande can maybe make the difference here. We have Kharazim the Monk also in play, and that's of course always awesome. Shrimpy already has to jump away here, and in this case, of course, we saw the Tyrande stun just a bit short. Oftentimes you see Tyrande still play together with Johanna, so that can work if you are really good with landing your stuns, and Gerd is very good on the hero in general. Very nice stun here, and a pretty cool snipe, exactly highlighting what I just said. The later stages of the game, that's on the other hand gonna be where it's gonna be very, I feel, difficult to keep Tyrande alive. But well, for now they're doing well with her. They got the first kill, first blood in the game. As the talents we have for Kharazim, Transcendence taken. There's also the Ranger's Mark, we have Knight takes Pawn. That wasn't really a surprise. The bot lane with JPL going up against Snow. So Nazebo versus Vala. And then in the mid lane, Splendor and Shrimpy. Oftentimes on the European meta, it's still like the rotation between the mid lane and the top lane, and that's exactly what we're seeing both of the teams do, especially when it comes to Team Kinguin, of course, since they are having that sniper comp with Tyrande. But we are already seeing that Leoric is starting to really lean towards staying up at the top. He's rotating occasionally still, but he's going to be the hero that will play the off lane, and Alex is usually using Hardened Bones and Lingering Apparition on his hero to make sure that he is just able to move away every single time he gets ganked. Already starting that setup with his level 4 talent that we're seeing here. Moves away with the Wraith Walk. No real danger to him at this point. And we're seeing a full arrow build for JPL on Vala down to the bot lane. Going probably for the repeating arrow then on level 7. As we have up here still a bit of a brawl. Johanna with the Iron Skin trying to move away here. And Get Amhead already with the additional stun. Invidum focusing heavily on the living bombs now. Get is really low, but they might get a kill on Uther. Doesn't really look like they get enough damage in. He's already moving away. Kharazim is taken out though. Very well played here by NaVi. They were aiming for Tyrande, but then in the end they take out Kharazim the Monk instead. Great play by them, and that's of course one of those things that they are currently trying to just like force in, those stuns. The slow with the skeleton swing, the stun on Uther, the stun on Muradin, and then also the slow thanks to Eternal on Jaina. Taking on level 1 Deep Chill and then Arcane Intellect, so not going into Snowstorm, which is, I want to say at this point, really one of those meta talents that we have on Tomb the Spider Queen, since there are a lot of small corridors where you can get a lot of value out of the increased radius thanks to Snowstorm. But for the longest time, Arcane Intellect was the talent to go for, especially on this map, and right now this is also one of the things that the teams are trying to rely upon. Ui up here at the top is pretty much alone as the rotation is heading to the bot lane again. Eternal is there, Shrimpy as well. They're trying to go for another potential stun here. Splendor with the heals, and Living Bomb galore the entire time thanks to Kharazim, played by Nvidum here. He went on level 4 for Netherwind. On level 1 we have Mana Addict. That talent in particular is just having a lot of synergy with the level 16 talent where you are getting your shield. Very, very few Kharazim player these days are not going for the shield on that talent. We see it occasionally with another Living Bomb talent taken, but normally you have Living Bombs on 7, on 13, and that alone already gives you so much damage, and usually enough for the teams to really get all that AoE DPS in then later on during the fights. Level 7 a little bit faster for NaVi. They're doing well here. We are running them with Uther on Cleanse, and we are seeing now the Lingering Apparition on Leoric up at the top lane, trying to get his experience, and the repeating arrow for Vala, getting all of that damage in there as well. For both of the teams we're currently looking at a very strong setup, but in particular it is NaVi that runs that meta that we have on the European server and had for a long time with the double tank, so a very solid front line that is extremely difficult to take down. If you want to get to those heroes in the back line, then you have to go through Muradin and through Leoric first, and Jaina and Vala are of course going to try and do as much damage as possible before that really happens. With the level 7 talents now on the side of their opponent, we're already seeing them with the Lunar Blaze on Tyrande. There is in this case also Conviction now taken, but we have the rotation from Kinguin. They go in and try to take down one of the heroes. Invido missing the Gravity Lapse though. They are attempting to drop Shrimpy, but he just has too many hit points. Muradin is super tank heavy. Another missed stun, and Shrimpy moves in, but his own Stormbolt doesn't find a target. And they are still defending the Web Weaver, attempting to take more towers down. They already established a lead in experience, but they need to do a bit more than that if they really want to take lead in the game at this point. Moving in again with another stun, and the potential drop against Johanna, but Iron Skin is saving Levon, at least for now. Up at the top lane, it's still Leoric though, and that's exactly what I've been talking about earlier. Leoric is just not caring about what's happening in the game. He's pushing in with the Web Weavers. Alex is super safe since he has the Hardened Bones and the Lingering Apparition, so at this point he can just move back. He went through the entire wall. He already dropped half of the hit points over at that fort, and he just doesn't care. They have a super solid lead in experience now. Thanks to that, we are looking at level 9.5 for NaVi, and we have level 8 on the side of Kinguin. That setup that they are running here is very strong. We have Get Amhead and Snow in the mid lane right now. Kharazim Monk can actually go for maybe even those mercenaries if he gets a bit of help, but in this case that doesn't happen. Down here it's again an attack against Johanna, and the Iron Skins helps her for now, but for how long? Doesn't really look like she's gonna get away. Nope, Johanna is not gonna make it here. Kharazim was trying to help her out with his W, trying to just heal her up again, but that did not work out for him either. It's actually like interesting now to see the talents on Kharazim, because in this case he felt forced to go into cleanse on level 7. Normally you don't really see that too often. What's really popular on him is that with your W you get the second wave of healing on the level 7. It's a great talent to have if you want to boost the healing powers, but if you're going up against this much stun, then of course it's always a good option to go into cleanse, since you will have to make sure that your allies are not getting locked down too hard, and there is currently just way too much that can lock down a target pretty hard. There's a Web Weaver descending. Nice timing here, really well done. Shrimpy is waiting down here with a capture on the mercenaries for the perfect time. They already have their level 10. That increases of course the difficulty for Team Kinguin to deal with it. Great timing here for NaVi. I'm really liking this move. It's a small one, but it really works out for them. They're currently running this also with their 10s. There's a Strafe, we have Water Elemental, March of the Black King, Avatar, and the Divine Shield being used. And they are currently rushing up at the top lane with 4 heroes, with 3 actually in this case. Meridian is moving into the middle to try and put down another fort. And guess what? Leoric is all the way down to the bot lane and doing his thing together with the 2 Siege Giants and those Red Weavers. So it's a very difficult decision for Kinguin to make. They have to defend 3 lanes basically, and especially the top lane is pushed by 4 heroes now, since Meridian rotated back to the top. 4 actually survives with like no hit points whatsoever. They dodge all of the attempts of Kinguin to lock them down. And down to the bot lane, Alex by now arrived at the wall to the keep. So he is already trying to go through that. Now Kinguin starts to move down here. The fort in the mid lane is lost, and immediately NaVi moved back to the top, taking down fort number 3, and is probably going to take down the wall at the keep as well. Alex is not even hurt, like he can always move away with Wraith Walk, and he knows that. There's still those 2 Siege Giants that they got earlier. And up to the top lane, as already predicted, there we have the towers being dropped, and this is just NaVi playing a great game. Very smart what they do here. Divine Palm taken on level 10 for the Monk. We're seeing Lavor moving in, trying to use his Condemn to get Eternal, and doesn't get that. And even Meridian just moves away, uses his own Stormbolt, and that's that. We're seeing level 13 versus level 10, and this is just like a well-controlled game by NaVi thus far. Alex is moving in from the side, is trying to slow them down with a skeleton swing. Here comes Starfall, but it does not matter. As already predicted at the start of the game, Tyrande is going to be one of their weak points. Divine Palm is saving Johanna for now, but for how long? Well, not for long, I can tell you that much. Already 2 heroes down, and that's kill number 3 and number 4 in favor of NaVi. They are moving in again against the towers. Wraith walking away. Seeing Leoric with 24 gems moving away now. 46 gems for them to potentially turn in against 50. As the heroic abilities, in case I didn't catch that earlier, we are now seeing Gary, we have Phoenix, and of course also the Blessed Shield being used. It's pretty cool to see that Shrink Ray is one of the options that they went for, because they could have taken level 13 Abundance of Talent. It's one of the talents that I actually expected for Splendor. Was a spell shield, but he doesn't seem to feel threatened by those living bombs, so instead he just goes into the Shrink Ray and has now the option to control not only Kharazim but also Johanna a bit more during these fights. And talking about controlling the fights, Frost Shot on Vala as the level 13 talent is another talent that just is trying to accomplish the same thing. So pretty well done by NaVi thus far. I mean, they are the favorites going into this series. Kinguin had pretty much a slump for the last few weeks. It's one of the reasons why they decided to let 2 of their players go, Nepsa and Norok, and why they replaced them. So I don't really think that they have too much experience playing with that new lineup, with the exception of Scrims, of course. But NaVi is, of course, one of those teams that we've had now for the longest time in the scene, and they've been playing together with the setup for months. So a very, very strong lineup for them, and it's really working. I mean, we're still looking at a 2-level lead, a 3-level lead for NaVi right now, and they are just getting more gems together. They are very close to another completed turn-in. We have enough gems, actually, for Team Kinguin to turn their gems in as well. The problem that they're having with this is that they just can't get into the middle. The turn-in points are completely controlled by NaVi, and it's just too difficult for Kinguin to get close enough to get their gems in. And with that being a problem, there's very little that they can actually do. They're trying to zone them out, but now Phoenix is being used, and I doubt that they will have an option to really turn those in, especially with the rest of the team now rotating over. Shrimpy is trying to stun them out. He gets 1 in. Alex is slowing them down, needs to Wraith walk away. No, he goes for the March of the Black King. Johanna is already dead. They're trying to burst Alex. They might get him. No, they don't, as Splendor goes straight for the heals. We have Ui on Kharazim the Monk now jumping deep, trying to heal everybody out, but the kill against Kalthas. There goes Nazeebo. and it looks like Gerd on his Tyrande is not going to make it either. Divine Palm saving him for now, but Ui is already dead on his Monk, and Gerd Amherd is now also going to be obliterated. It is a complete team wipe, and with only 1 kill in the game against 9, things are not looking good for Team Kinguin. We have level 16 approaching now for the opponent's team. NaVi is gonna... they are even taking Executioner on Vala. I guess it helps. I mean, you're going for a Thunderclap build either way. You have Jaina in your midst. The Skeleton Swing slows too, so why not go for Executioner? I guess it would do even more damage if you would have gone for an auto attack build, but in this case, having the arrow build is strong enough. The boss was now taken up at the top. The rest of the team was just moving over and making sure that they would get him too. They time it perfectly again with the Web Weavers, and it's just amazing to watch NaVi dominate a game like this. Level 16 versus level 13. The timings that we're seeing for them are amazing. Consume Vitality, the level 16 talent on Leoric. Stone Form again, of course, for Muradin. And now that the boss is pushing the top lane together with the Web Weaver, they can focus their attention towards the middle of the map. We have finally the chain bombs in play, and Kharazim actually went for Relentless considering how much stun there is on the board for Team NaVi. But still, at this point, it just looks like an utter disaster in game number 1 for them. We have level 17 versus level 13, 9 kills against 1. They go through the keep in the mid lane, they go up to the top, of course, to take down another one, and now they really want to fight. Water Elemental is already in again. They go deep, and March of the Black King finishing off the Monk, and Kel'Thas, he dies too. Everybody is just dying again. Living bomb or no living bomb, it's a second team wipe. 14 kills against 1, and this is going to be an easy game number 1 for NaVi in this best of 3 series at the end of the Storm Group B here in the playoffs against Kinguin. GG, well played. And Kinguin will have to rely on map number 2 and try to turn things around here. NaVi dominating Tomb of the Spider Queen and taking the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series. Great play here by NaVi, really well done. They take game number 1 and are now in the lead in the best of 3 series. Our second map is going to be Garden of Terror. Kinguin, of course, has to win now 2 in a row if they want to advance to the winner's match of the series. But we have a very strong draft for NaVi once again. This time they're running it with an Illidan, and they have at the front line a Johanna. And the thing with Illidan is that, of course, he can really capitalize on an Abathur that is in the same setup, since he can use that symbiote, and also there's a potential copy on Illidan in those fights. But now there has been a massive change in the last patch where the cooldown on the Ultimate Evolution for Abathur's copy has been reduced from 70 seconds down to 50, and that doesn't only benefit Illidan, but that also benefits Jaina. Jaina is part of NaVi's composition, so we're having a potential double Jaina in nearly every single team fight for them, which is incredibly strong. Kinguin, on the other hand, they felt that they really have a setup that can deal with this. They have a double front line with Muradin and Arthur, so very tanky tanks with a high hit point pool and also the opportunity to lock targets down with a Stormbolt and a Howling Blast. We're seeing a Vala in their midst for damage and a Zagara together with an Uther. So also a very traditional setup for Kinguin, a very strong setup as well, and they're going to do their best to take this game now on Garden of Terror. It's their map choice, and they have to start to make a comeback here, or they will end up in that losers match that we've been talking about earlier. NaVi, of course, they want to claim another victory and straight go to that winners game that we've been mentioning. Let's find out together on Garden of Terror which team is going to be able to take it here. Will we see a tie in the series? Is Kinguin going to take it, or will NaVi proceed to win another map and take the best of 3 series with a 2-0? Alright everybody, second game. We are on Garden of Terror now, and we have again Kinguin versus NaVi. NaVi is in the 1-0 lead here at the end of the Storm playoffs. In Group B, to the left side, it is Kinguin with Gerd Amherd on Zagara. We have Lavon on Muradin, Ui on Uther, Snow on Arthurs, and Invidium playing Vala. To the right side of the map, NaVi with Splendor on Rhaegar. They have a pretty sick setup with Alex the Pro G on Johanna, JPL on Jaina, Eternal on Illidan, and Shrimpy on Abathur. So the double Jaina is going to become a big problem then later on. Already going straight for the Pajama Thor. It looks like we're gonna see Shrimpy down here. Already dancing a little bit there at the front, saying hi. And it's like, what's up, boys? He's gonna be up against Ui and Invidium on the bot lane. No real surprises when we're talking about the level 1 talents. I mean, it's basically what you would expect. We have on Arthur's. I guess on Arthur's we could see block, but oftentimes you will see the Regeneration Master there as well, so it's not really a shocker to see him go into this one. We're having Alex the Pro G and JPL currently in the mid lane, and especially JPL is going to be super awesome later on in those fights. In case that you didn't know, Abathur's Ultimate Evolution heroic ability got a cooldown reduction. It was actually undocumented. It went from 70 seconds down to 50 seconds, and that basically means that every single fight that you fight, you will have the opportunity to go straight into a copy, and a double Jaina is absolutely brutal. And during all of that, Illidan is of course always a very thankful target for a symbiote, and that's also true for Jaina and Johanna. Especially Johanna, who's usually up at the front line, can benefit from that a lot, and that's what they are currently trying to play with. So the team fights are going to be pretty brutal for the Kinguin backline. And whoa, JPL is already moving in. They were trying to go for Snow here, so I forget I'm here. And Snow actually the one who was able to move them back or force them back, especially with that Howling Blast potentially against JPL's Jaina. So yeah, they are still starting the fight, and Gerd is not gonna make it. Nope, he's down, and Levant is trying to move in to steal some seats away. JPL, he misses his stun. That is of course a problem. Now he's also being slowed down, had to jump away, and JPL is still alive. Nice play here. Great Jaina play actually, slowing him down, dodging the Storm Bolt, really well done. And we still have seats stolen at the bot lane. We're currently in Vidum is trying to push Splendor back. So there's the Storm Bolt, and Splendor is able to get away, and Alex with the Condemn is also forcing Muradin to jump out here. So very nice opening on the side of Navi, already with Abathur on the lane to soak with a body. In case that you're a little bit newer to Heroes of the Storm, or at least to Abathur play, Abathur has only two solid or two reliable ways to soak experience. One is if he is with his buddy within experience range, as with any other hero out there. The second way for him to soak experience is with the symbiote. Once the symbiote is in range of dying minions, then he also gets the experience. And a more unreliable way to gain experience is if you take down a minion with one of your abilities, and the locust count as an ability, then you also get the experience, but only for the particular minions that you take down with an ability. That could be a Toxic Nest, a Mine, or it could be the the symbiote or the locust, as we can see here right now. So yeah, those are the few ways how you can get experience with him. So theoretically you can easily just soak two lanes with Abathur by just moving your body onto the map, onto like one of the lanes, and then soaking the second lane with your symbiote. The symbiote is being used to help Eternal out over here. Eternal is going to die. Was trying to steal a few of the seats again. I don't think that he really expected Invido Minui to be there. Abathur already putting a couple of Toxic Nests around, and up to the top we're having now Snow, Gedamhead and Splendor going for the next few seats. I have to say that at this point it's actually very cool how Kinguin is running the objectives. They lost the first easy camps, or the small camps here on the map, but right now they're doing really well, stealing them away from Navi. So great moves on their side. Well done, and they might get a kill now as well. They already took down Illidan earlier, now they go for Alex, but Snow has to be super careful, he's extremely low, but it is a kill against Rhaegar. So 2 kills versus 1, and they get a ton of seeds. They have an entire plant already. Very well played here in the early game. It looked really at the beginning if they were the ones that would have some trouble here, but instead it's all of a sudden Kinguin who is just turning things around, moving in against Navi and forcing them back, taking 2 of their heroes down. So solid play, congratulations, well done already. Frozen Wastes have been used, the mana reduction, so I suppose that he's going to go for the level 13 talent on his Frozen Tempest as well to increase the damage. At least that's something that I would expect him to do. On level 4 he gave up Destruction, so that's quite a bit of damage that you give up, and oftentimes that is being used against an Illidan, since you're trying to use the Frostmourne trade against Illidan when he starts to jump in. In this case, they forego that, so I would be very surprised if they wouldn't go for some additional Frozen Tempest talents later on in the game. But for now, we have the level 7 kicking in with a Feral Heart here after the Spirit Walker's Grace for the reduction on the mana costs. The first plant is in play, and Snow is rushing down to the bot lane and tries to capitalize on as much as they can. If they're able to take a few of the towers down, that would be all that they need to do here. And they're also using the pot right now to take down these Siege Giants. So yeah, job well done, at least thus far. Siege Giants are extremely low already, moving away, creating space, by the way, for the top lane, where we're currently seeing Gadamhead and Vidum and Ui going for the towers. So yeah, great play so far from Team Kinguin. But also, when we're looking at Navi, they're starting to come back into this. We have Johanna and Gadamhead fighting against each other. Gerd has to be careful, since it's also Abatha who's jumping into the fight, helping out, but Ui with the rotation, trying to get the stun in on his money pick, and therefore they had to back off, at least for now. Pretty cool play, pretty fast-paced here in the early game, like it. We have Snow jumping in against the Eternal now, and Gadamhead is just rotating all over the place. From the top to the mid, back to the bot, always making sure that he is dropping those creep tumors so that they have additional vision on the map, and with the endless creep on level 7, he will have an easy time to cover the entire map here. Splendor gets stunned, Howling Blast is not ready. Oh, it's ready just in time, and they get the kill. Rhaegar is dead, and that brings Kinguin very close to level 10. Very solid performance here by them. They were struggling in the first two fights, but since then they have been able to take Navi's players out one after another. Now they are on level 10. We have them with 3 kills against 1. Vidum is also starting to push JPL a bit back, but there's only Vala. But Ui is starting to move in too. There's the stun against Illidan. Oh, the Rain of Vengeance! Well played, but that's not the only hero that rotated. Eternal and Alex are there with JPL. They take the camp, and they're nearly able to get a kill against Uther. So job well done thus far. Syndragosa on the side of Arthur's. Rain of Vengeance, we've seen it in action. Divine Shield for Uther, who went for Boundless Conviction on level 4, in case that you missed it. Avatar and more have been the talents that they are using for their heroics. And if you're looking at the heroic abilities on the side of Navi, no big surprise there just yet. Ultimate Evolution should be the talent that we're seeing for Abath in a second. I don't think he's going to use Monty in this case, not with the setup that they're running here. We have them with Metamorphosis, Water Elemental, Blessed Shield, and Ancestral Healing on the side of Rhaegar. Abath is probably going to move out on the map pretty soon to soak additional experience, but the teams are also on the map now taking those small camps, and even going for the big Garden Terror up to the top, so trying to take as much experience as they possibly can. Abath not soaking any lane just yet. He could try and go right over here, but it's a little bit risky with them not knowing where exactly the opponent is positioned. And Kinguin is doing the exact same thing. They're also now in a position where they are trying to get the rest of their seeds. A plant is already growing for Navi. Alex tries to move in to steal a few away, gets stunned, uses Iron Skin, whoa, and steals a fair amount. Well done. He's probably going to die, but I don't think that it matters to them too much. As long as they get away with the rest of the team, it's going to be fine. Schwimpy goes for the copy, and that's actually a very smart move. Like, some of you might think, why exactly did he just go for a copy? What the hell was that? That was a total waste. It wasn't. It was only to cover their retreat. They realized that they were in a bit of trouble. They already lost Johanna, and the nightmare would have been to lose another 1, 2, 3 heroes and then be completely helpless. But with this simple copy, with only a 50-second cooldown, by the way, copy is down to 30-second cooldown, right? That's why we have Ultimate Evolution at this point. With this copy, he could just jump in, disrupt the opponent just for a tiny little bit, buy some time, allow the rest of the team to retreat, and now we're seeing them move in with a plan. Very smart move on the side of Abath. I'm really liking it, and now in just another 10 seconds the copy is already back up. This camp here, I already feel sorry for a team when they take a camp, because the only thing that you have to do is rotate with a plan, get a quick pot in, and then the entire camp is gone, and that's exactly what we are right now seeing here. So Abath has his Ultimate Evolution up again, can use that if he wants to. Up to the top lane, we have Splendor and JPL. The teams are starting to home in on level 13, as apparently Snow has a bit of a problem. Ooh, you're not quite sure which one of them. But yeah, to look once again at the builds that we are seeing, we have once more the focus on Arcane Intellect here, so not going for Snowstorm. It made a little bit more sense even to go for Snowstorm on the last map, Tomb of the Spider Queen, but also on this map it can be quite strong. It's always a question of how much mana you really want to have, if you really need it, yes or no. Illidan went into first aid on level 7. I'm mentioning it because these days it's starting to become a bit more popular to go with Illidan into Thrill of Battle, since it's very good for your cooldown reduction. There are not too many heroes on the side of Kinguin though that have spell damage, so getting that shield in over and over again might not be as important in this case as it is against the Kalthas or against the Jaina, which is one of the main reasons why players like Lowell, for example, and also the Virtus Pro players are starting to use a lot more Thrill of Battle. It's also other teams that are starting to focus on it a lot more. We have the teams, as I said, starting to get in on level 13, and especially up at the top lane. We could see, we're not going to see a fourth fall, not with level 13 coming in now. the talents. There's the Shrink Ray against Illidan, super important. Also some extra damage against the hit point heavy tanks, especially of course Alex, and then later Illidan is going to be one of the targets. That's why we're having Giant Killer taken here. And as expected, I mean, that was a given. Biting Cold on level 13, the Frozen Tempest damage increase. If you go for the level 4 Talon on Arthas, then you have to go for the level 13 as well. You give up Spell Shield for that, but still, it's one of these things that you just want to get. 13 versus 13 now, and Abathar is going for the full support build, of course, with the heroes that they have here. Interestingly enough, we have JPL being targeted by the Shrink Ray. Not sure if that was the smartest target for it. Eternal down here against Snow and Get Amherd. We still have a bit of experience soaked by Shrimpy, who has the bot lane right now, is covering this. And we're seeing also Healing Surge. We're having Hold Your Ground in this case. And they are starting to go in again. Shrimpy already with a copy, going for the Illidan copy over a potential Jaina copy here. Starts to move in from the side and jumps right into it, putting pressure on Gerd. Syndragosa already for the engage, but the kill against the copy, and also Johanna was eliminated. So yeah, great play again by Kinguin. 5 kills against 1 for now. They are very close in the seats, and if you look at the experience in general, Shrimpy is making sure that they are starting to really get a bit closer. He's still very far out on the map, and well, for now at least Navi has started to take a couple of camps. Muradin is starting to move in here, and Shrimpy needs to be super careful right now. Okay, he is going to get away. Livor wasn't really quite sure if he would get Abathar and didn't want to waste any time with this, so we have him just defending the lane. In the mid lane it is Eternal and JPL together with Abathar going straight for Snow. These structures are actually getting really low. It's not only the one in the mid lane, but also up at the top. We have seen a bit of damage done earlier. But we still have Kinguin in the lead, and the night is falling again, and that means that we are going to see another battle down here. And of course, in particular, we're going to see the fight for the seats right now. Once more, they are starting to jump in, more already in there. Illidan uses Metamorphosis and tries to jump away, gets healed. Ancestral is in. Shrimpy with a copy on Jaina. They're trying to put the damage on Zagara, but the Divine Shield from Uther saving her for now. Arthas is dead though, and this is the momentum that they were waiting for. They're trying to rush in, and Gerd is about to get dropped. Yes, the kill against Zagara, and now Muradin is their next target. He's getting taken out mid-flight, was about to jump away here, and that was exactly the fight that they've been waiting for the entire time. They get their kills in, 3 kills, they take the fort. Level 16 now for them. Illidan with a blood for blood. Rhaegar probably going to go for the tidal waves here. I would be very surprised if Abathar is not going to go for the spike talent, if he's not going to go for the slow. And we're seeing them, of course, aim straight for the seats. They have a window now, and they are using it. There's the imposing presence. We have Numbing Blast now taken. Tidal waves as is expected. Up to the top lane. Shrimpy could actually slap a couple of minions down, but he doesn't do that right now. But yeah, he can go for the slow. That's a plan growing. And actually, if they get everything, if they get the small camp and also the big garden terror, they will get 2 plans in a row. That's something that Kinguin has to prevent. They really have to prevent it. They cannot allow it. There is no way that they can allow that to happen. But it's plant versus plant on the map right now. Alex the Prodigy and the rest of the team, they're moving over. They're trying to get exactly that. 2 plants, level 16s are also now ready for the opponent's team, and that of course means Kinguin. So Kinguin is going to try and move in and deny that, but there's only a few more seats left that Navi needs, and they're trying to get those. The fight is happening, and this is going to get really dirty right now. It's 20 more seats that they need. Shrimpy is low on the copy. Copy is dead, but he can jump in with the symbiote. Once more, Abathar doing Abathar things as Eternal jumps over, jumps back in, is trying to claim victory here, but Divine Shield already used on Uther. He gets sucked in by the Condemned. Great Rain of Vengeance used by Invidum on the other side of that debris, taking down Illidan. It looks like Kinguin can deny the double plan to their opponents. They take the seats over here. That was a close call, but they are able to make it work. Great job there, by the way. Vala from the other side of the debris using the Rain of Vengeance, locking down Illidan, jumping in again and getting that kill. That was super important. Very well done. Level 17, still an experience lead on the side of Navi, but Kinguin is in a very solid position either way. They're trying to move in now, of course, to take down one of the forts. They already know that they have an advantage in numbers. 6 versus 4 kills, and they're going to try and capitalize on it right now. Rocking in against that fort. JPL is still trying to help them out. Alex the Prodigy renamed himself, is called Polymorph now. Actually, like, that's of course that bug that sometimes happens when you get polymorphed. If he gets polymorphed again, it should disappear. But for now, he is basically constantly polymorphed. Poor kid. Yeah. Bot lane is getting pushed at this point, but as you can see here, we have, with all the heroes still in the mid lane for Team Kinguin, still a really solid creep spread. I want to highlight that once again, because it's one of these things that really allows them to get good vision on the map, and as long as Gat is going to try and put some creep tumors also up to the top or bot lane, they will have very solid vision about what's going on here. Splendor is the one on Rhaegar with his lightning shield that is just trying to take additional camps. The rest of the team is already rotating and even setting up small traps here. I don't think that Snow is gonna fall for that. Eternal and JPL, with the help of Abathar, could have taken him out, but with the help of the Fort, I'm not 100% certain if they're really willing to commit to it. In the mid lane, it's the Siege Giants versus Siege Giants, and level 18 versus 18 now. Very close game here. Completely different from what we've seen in the first game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And as I already mentioned on map number 1, I really feel like the draft for Kinguin was absolutely horrible. And that was mostly because they were forced to pick Tyrande away from their opponents, and that left them with a very awkward setup that didn't really work out for them. You always have the you have a little bit of a synergy between Johanna and Tyrande, but it's not really comparable to Uther, Tyrande, Muradin, something that we could have seen in this game, but Navi was not willing to fight against it and banned out Tyrande instead, which is absolutely understandable if you've ever seen that combo in action. Up to the top lane now, actually both of the teams. It doesn't really matter if it's up at the top lane or the bot lane. Both of them are really thinking about just moving in and setting a bit of a trap. Gerd is now just placing down creep tumors wherever he can. And they're starting to lock down Splendor. Nice. Using his cleanse to get away from this particular move. Alex still running around with that polymorph. We're seeing the fort being destroyed, and well, that closes, or nearly closes, the gap in experience between the two teams. Abathar at the bot lane is moving far out to push the lane in and soak additional experience. It's all about level 20 at this point. You want to hit level 20, you want to hit it as fast as you can. Shrimpy is there. In vision of the wall, by the way, just saying. I mean, Shrimpy, seriously, dude, at least slap it down or something. I'm always annoyed if if I play Abathar, my allies don't take down walls. Abathars hate walls. That's just the thing. They're like the East Germans. They don't like walls. Die Mauer muss weg. So they're always trying to just like take them down. And yeah, that's very reminiscent of East Germany. But for now, we have at the bot lane. They're looking for Abathar. They're already looking for him. The wall betrayed him, and Abathar knew what was happening, and that's why he moved away. But level 20 is now hitting any second, and therefore, let's see what we're gonna have as the talents. I guess Hive Mind on Abathar would make a whole lot of sense here for him. And that's exactly what he's using right now. Rhaegar with a rewind. Important here. Demonic form as well. And they're going into the fight. And Divine Shield baited out early on since Uther was so low. But it doesn't even help him. He dies and he doesn't have his 20 yet. So there's no way for him to go for redemption. And that's of course the worst time to die, since we're now seeing those small camps appearing everywhere on the map. And well, that means that we could definitely see another double plant on the side of Navi. It's another chance for them. The small camps down here are already being taken. Snow is rotating in to take the small one as well. How is Navi going to react though? Are they going to take the Garden Tower up at the top? Yeah, they're happy. They're happy to switch it. We're having Illidan just trying to steal a few of them away, and I guess that works for them. He's still down here. And they go for the double Illidan. They rotate down. Alright, they want to have the fight, and that makes way more sense. Moving in, the copy is already about to die, but they're going straight for Envidum. And without a healer, this is not even a contest. Down is Vala, Syndragosa, use, get Amherd. Drops now 2. Snow is about to be taken out as well. And yeah, Arthur is not going to survive, nor is Muradin, unless he has another jump. He's trying to jump away. It's going to be close though. He's going to be slowed. And Lemore, he gets healed by Ui and actually escapes. And as I say it, Eternal goes deep with his Illidan. Now they want to have Ui too. Wow, they dive, they keep to get this one. And now they are also going to get a keep, even without using the plant. The plant is just now moving through the middle, and they're going straight for a core. I mean, they try to drop the core, and with 14 15 seconds on Vala. Ui, the only one who's back to business. I do not think that there is a chance for Team Kinguin to come back into this. NaVi is already in the lead with a 1-0. If they take it now, and it looks like they will, then we're gonna have a 2-0 victory, and yes, they will move on to the winners match. Great job by NaVi. Much better map for Kinguin here on Garden of Terror than on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but in the end it is still a flawless victory for Team NaVi. A game well played, NaVi. They are successful again. That last fight, they dropped everybody and were just in the perfect amount of time able to drop the keep, get the plant in as well, and take the core. A 2-0 victory in the best of 3 series for them, so they advance to the winners match. We have Kinguin now dropping into the losers match, where they are going to face the evil Murkies. They lost against Roccat, so Roccat versus NaVi is going to be the winners match in Group B here in the playoffs for the End of the Storm. Pretty cool games that we've seen today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, then make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, hit that button hard, and I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content on Khaldor TV, and especially, of course, Road to BlizzCon and Enter the StormCon. Both of the tournaments are currently ongoing. Both of the tournaments give us amazingly, like great games. The games are absolutely stunning. All of the teams are giving everything that they have to proceed throughout the brackets in both of these competitions, since these are the major competitions in Heroes of the Storm right now, at least when we're talking about the European server. So guys, see you again soon. Thank you very much for tuning in today. It was a pleasure casting for you. I hope that you enjoyed the video. See you soon and have a great week. Bye bye.